At the age of 8, I suffered from a high fever, and since then, my intellect has been rather impaired. My father declared that I am a worthless item without a handle, thus deeming me unworthy of attending school. That afternoon, when my younger brother was wailing and lamenting his reluctance to go to school, I promptly severed his handle. Did not father say that those without a handle need not attend school? Therefore, he is exempt from schooling. 01 My younger brother was sent to the hospital, and my father was furious beyond measure. He chased after me while I fled. Eventually, I was caught and subjected to a severe beating, leaving me gasping for breath. But that was not all. My brother concocted a scheme to sell me to the neighboring bachelor village as a shared wife. Indeed, the neighboring village was aptly named. It was inhabited entirely by ruffians expelled from their own villages, and no one was willing to marry into their ranks. Over time, they pooled their meager resources to purchase a shared wife at a high price. I heard that several had gone mad from despair. On the very day I was to be sold, I stealthily pilfered 2 packets of rat poison from home and discreetly deposited them into the village's only well. After all, they had feasted while I starved. By the afternoon, the entire village of old bachelors was writhing in agony, clutching their bellies and foaming at the mouth. A dozen of them crawled and rolled, pleading for me to take them to the hospital. I charged them 200 yuan per head. After escorting them to the hospital, I returned home with a hefty sum, much to the shock of my parents. My father, irate, threatened to kill me, but the next day, he dared not speak a word after I stood at their bedside with a knife in hand, instilling fear into their hearts. Consequently, I was granted a permanent stay in the chicken coop. With no space to lie down, I roasted 4 chickens to make room for myself to sleep. My parents, exasperated, dared not allow me back inside the house, fearing I might awaken in the underworld one day. It was not until my 18th year that the police arrived with my biological parents in tow. As they embraced me and wept bitterly, my brother's eyes glinted with mischief. He claimed that I had ruined his life and insisted on keeping me to carry on the family line. If they wanted to take me away, they would first have to compensate him. Upon hearing this, my adoptive parents seized the opportunity and demanded a staggering 1 million yuan in compensation. Once they received the money, they feigned a sudden pang of conscience, advising my biological parents to have my mental state evaluated. We picked her up when she was 3, but after a high fever at 8, her mind has been a bit. My biological parents, lost in their surprise and guilt, did not inquire further into the state of my mind. 02 It was indeed true that my biological parents were affluent. Without a flicker of hesitation, they produced 1 million yuan, and their household employed a maid. However, her eyesight was failing. Whenever she looked at me, her gaze was always askew, a sign of her advancing age. Now that our young lady has returned, she must remember to adhere to the household rules. You did not greet me upon your arrival, which is a breach of protocol. Those who do not follow the rules shall face punishment. With that, she brandished a ruler, gripping my wrist and striking my palm until it swelled. That evening, my brother and the adopted daughter returned from school, and I cheerfully greeted them. One ignored me, while the other rolled her eyes. I excitedly retrieved Wang Ma's ruler, raising my wrist to chase after them and deliver a few strikes. Their shrieks summoned Wang Ma, who was livid. Young lady, you are once again disregarding the rules. I looked bewildered.
Ha!
It is they who did not greet me, thus violating the rules. You too, Wang Ma. How could you not greet me upon seeing me? You have also broken the rules. After saying this, I pursued Wang Ma with the ruler, aiming for her face. She, unable to outrun me due to her frail legs, could only cover her head and flee in disarray, shouting, "There is no such rule anymore. It will no longer be enforced." Understanding the situation, I halted. You should have mentioned that sooner. When my parents returned, the 3 of them launched into a synchronized complaint about me. The adopted daughter wept, while my brother covered half his face, soothing her with one hand while glaring at me with the other. Wang Ma lamented, pounding her chest, and declaring that while it was acceptable for her to be struck, it was a shame that the young lady and the young master had to suffer. My father, initially not angry, inquired why I had resorted to violence. I innocently extended my swollen hand. Wang Ma said that not greeting someone is a breach of protocol, and I was struck for it. They 3 did not greet me, so they too should be punished. My father, upon hearing this, was about to unleash his wrath upon Wang Ma but was taken aback by her pig-like visage, turning back to gaze at me. But you cannot be so harsh. My mother, standing by, wept, expressing her regret that we had not found each other sooner, lamenting the absence of respect for elders and love for the young. Witnessing this, Shuezhenju stepped forward to console my mother, displaying her swollen arms clearly. It is all my fault. I did not realize she resembled our parents, and I mistakenly did not recognize her as my sister. It is entirely my error. Do not blame her. My brother, his face flushed with rage, retorted, "It is not your fault, Zhenju. It is her lack of decorum, returning from a backwater village. So uncouth."
Huh?
Lack of decorum? Upon hearing this, I reached for the ruler on the floor, but my father swiftly snatched it away. Enough of this commotion. It is time to eat. After the meal, I inquired which room I would be sleeping in that night. Upon hearing this, Shuezhenju frowned slightly, her neck seemingly unable to straighten. My room is the largest. Let the young lady have it. However, I have too many belongings, and it will take me a couple of days to tidy up. Let the young lady stay in the guest room for a few days. I believe she will find it to her liking. My mother waved her hand dismissively. There is no need for that. We have plenty of rooms. I will have someone break through the wall between the two guest rooms for Baozhu tomorrow. Shuezhenju's expression stiffened. That would be inappropriate. Once I tidy up, I can bear to move to the newly joined room. My brother naturally chimed in. Those two rooms combined will surely be large, so let Zhenju have the bigger one. She has more belongings. My mother, seeing that I was silent, rubbed her temples. You all decide. Your father and I need a good rest. I chuckled, promptly dialing the property management to send 2 people to prepare for the move. Shuezhenju, witnessing this, rushed out to stop me, her face a mask of grievance. All my belongings were bought for me by my parents and brother. They are precious to me, and quite expensive. I fear the property staff will mishandle them. What harm is there in the young lady staying in the guest room for a couple of days? Just as she finished speaking, she stumbled backward, her expression more pitiful than before. Sister, if you dislike me, you can say so. Shui Baozhu. A furious shout echoed from behind. Apologize to Zhenju, or I shall not spare you. My brother stormed down from upstairs, fuming. I sighed. Fine. I will write her an apology tomorrow. It is too late today. Perhaps my expression was too earnest, as Shuezhenju seemed about to speak again, but my brother had already preemptively agreed. Then you shall read it aloud tomorrow morning in front of everyone, and you must promise that you will not bully Zhenju again. I acquiesced and strolled towards the garden. I would address it when we met again tomorrow. In the garden, I played with 2 toads for a while, then wiped my hands on their pajamas for the night. In the dead of night, they were taken to the hospital by our parents, covered in red rashes and itching unbearably. Listening to the croaking of the toads outside my window, I drifted off to sleep on my soft mattress, blissfully entering the realm of dreams. 03 the following morning. As I awoke, Wang Ma forcibly dragged me to the hospital. Brandishing the surveillance footage, she adamantly proclaimed that I was the cause of their hospitalization. The footage clearly showed me in the garden catching toads and later touching their pajamas. My father trembled with rage, demanding to know why I had done such a thing. I pouted. I did it for their benefit. The venom of the toads can reduce swelling.
Wing maspat in outrage.
Young lady, how can you spread such nonsense? I have never heard that toad venom can reduce swelling.
I blinked her hair innocently.
When I was little, if I was bitten or bruised, that is how my swelling was treated in the village. Wang Ma was now beside herself with fury. How can you even compare to the second young lady? She was raised in luxury, so delicate. You, who have suffered in the countryside, cannot expect to use the same methods. Can the second young lady be like you? My mother, attempting to placate my father, turned to me. Baozhu, those are village remedies. Toad venom is poisonous. You must never do that again. Quickly apologize to your brother and sister. The 2 on the hospital bed had their faces completely bandaged, unable to speak, merely glaring at me with intense hatred. Madame Wang, with a heart full of concern, clutched the hands of both of them. I washed the clothes with disinfectant every day, keeping this house immaculate, and yet, I never expected this. I nonchalantly took a seat. Indeed, I too am curious as to how you managed to maintain such cleanliness in the house. Considering there are 2 deceased mice in my room. Madame Wang sprang up in shock. Miss, you cannot unjustly accuse us like this. Then let's check the surveillance footage to see who entered my room. Go ahead and check, she retorted. The result revealed that everyone had entered my room. leaving no room for investigation. Madame Wang exclaimed, "Could it be that you, miss, are the one who placed them there, trying to shift the blame onto us?" My parents looked at me with doubt etched on their faces. "Bai Zhu, could it be that you misinterpreted the situation? Madame Wang has been with us for so many years. She would never do such a thing. Just apologize to your brother and sister and let this matter rest." I ceased my argument and, with a tone of feigned politeness, offered an apology to my siblings. Following this incident, my parents, no longer delaying, began to suspect whether I had a mental illness and took me to see a doctor. The physician deemed it not to be a mental disorder, but diagnosed me with severe depression, suggesting that I might indeed be imagining certain non-existent things. My mother, overwhelmed with emotion, held me tightly and wept. She began to feel guilty for not supervising me properly when Madame Wang took my brother and me out to play, which led to my abduction. Due to my condition, my mother forbade me from attending school with my siblings. My father suggested hiring a tutor. Upon hearing this, Xue Zhenju lifted her head, beaming with a smile. "There was a great teacher at my previous tutoring class. I can recommend him to you, sister." My father comforted her with a pat on the back, saying, "Zhenju is indeed thoughtful." Only I noticed the insincere smile curling at the corners of her lips, a mask of malice. Within a few days, Zhenju had the tutor come to our home. He had a square face and a serious demeanor, appearing to be an excellent teacher, if only he placed his hand on my thigh. Today, both my parents were at work, and Madame Wang was nowhere to be found, leaving me alone in the house. When the tutor arrived, I did not let him in, stating that no one was home and that he should come back tomorrow. He firmly insisted, "You haven't attended school for 18 years. It's too late to catch up now. You wouldn't want to disappoint your parents, would you?" After some contemplation, I reluctantly allowed him entry. Not long into the lesson, he began to rub his hand along my thigh under the pretense of wanting to make me feel more comfortable and less anxious. "I heard you've spent 18 years in the countryside. You should understand a thing or two. The teacher means no harm, but your skin is so smooth and tender. You really don't look like someone from the countryside. You truly are a young lady. Your genes are remarkable." As his hand inched toward my skirt, I let out a cold laugh and stabbed his hand with a freshly sharpened pencil. He jumped up, howling in pain, and pointed at me, cursing profusely. "You uncultured brat. I'm a teacher. How dare you treat me like this? You don't know how many people have slept with you. Don't pretend to be a virtuous maiden. I intend to have my way with you today." With a sinister expression, he lunged at me. I dodged backward and reached for my phone to call the police. He abruptly halted his advance, hurriedly attempting to flee, and spat at me before exiting. "That Xue Zhenju told me you were a well-behaved child. What a fool I was to believe her lies." He glared at me through the car window, threatening, "I will definitely report your vile actions to your parents. Just wait for them to be utterly disappointed in you." I reached out to stop his car, and thinking I was afraid, he regained his oily, overconfident smirk. "If you don't want to talk, then come with me for a bit. I'll return you in an hour." I too smiled. Brandishing a cleaver that I had stealthily retrieved from the kitchen, and without a word, I struck the car repeatedly. He shrieked in fright from within the vehicle. Seizing the moment while I paused to catch my breath, he floored the gas pedal and sped away, terrified I might pursue him. After school, Xue Zhenju returned home first, her eyes bloodshot as she stormed into my room. "You are truly insane. How dare you allow that scum to threaten me, costing me 200,000. She raged, smashing things about. Once she had vented her frustration, she composed herself, running her fingers through her hair while smirking at me. "Do you really think Mom and Dad love you? The moment you were abducted, they were eager to adopt me. Their kindness towards you now is merely a manifestation of guilt. As for me, having lived in this household for over a decade, they have long since cherished me dearly. What does it matter if you are their biological child? You will forever remain the intruder. You should return to the poor mountain valley. That mud hut is your true home. How dare you come back and obstruct our lives? You truly have no shame." Before she could finish her taunt, I slapped her hard, and before she could scream, I delivered a series of rapid blows that caught her off guard. Grasping her hair, I slammed her against the wall, delivering strikes until she finally cried out. Just as I was about to feel satisfied, a powerful force yanked me away from her. "Do you want to die?" It was Madame Wang, who had been missing for a day, her expression dark as she gripped my neck tightly. Before she could utter another word, My brother returned from school, frowning at the chaos in the room. What happened now? Jinju sobbed, claiming I had hit her, and my brother, throwing down his backpack, rushed towards me. Shui Baizhu, you are nothing but a nuisance, always coming back to cause trouble for our family. Get out! Jinju cried even louder, brother. She blames me for taking her place. Perhaps I should just leave. Her words struck a chord with my brother's sympathy. He gripped my wrist tightly, attempting to push me down. You will kneel and apologize to Jinju. I forcefully shook him off. On what grounds? On the grounds that you are acting insane. I believe even if you hadn't been abducted, you'd still be a lunatic. I could no longer tolerate it and lunged at him, engaging in a physical struggle. Jinju came to care for you. You are striking her without reason.
Care for me?
I kicked him down and pulled out a voice recorder. I had recorded everything from when Jinju entered to when Madame Wang arrived. My brother's face turned from green to pale, and he instinctively stammered, "You're faking." This isn't Jinju, but fell silent before finishing his sentence. I scoffed. This was my own brother. With the evidence laid bare, he still unconditionally defended another person. Jinju's eyes darted, and she covered her face, weeping. Brother, the tutor told me that sister has gone mad. I was just upset and said those things. I didn't mean it. I kindly found her a tutor, and she went insane and attacked him with a knife. Is this something a normal person would do? As her words fell, our parents, having heard the commotion, rushed home. Jinju immediately threw herself into our mother's arms, sobbing as if she might faint.
Mom.
Sister has gone mad. My father, filled with rage, shouted at me for attacking the tutor. My mother, meanwhile, comforted Jinju, her gaze towards me filled with disappointment. Unhurriedly, I retrieved the voice recorder, playing back the events from when the tutor arrived to when Jinju came in. My father erupted in fury, but this time, it was directed at Jinju. What are you scheming? My mother shoved her away, her teeth clenched. We have expended countless efforts to find Baizhu. Losing sleep day and night, and in your mouth, it has turned into guilt. Shui Jinju, what were you really aiming for by finding her such a tutor? My brother attempted to defend her, but was silenced by my mother's wrath. Jinju wailed in despair. I did not, Mom, you have to believe me. I had no idea that teacher was this kind of person. He wasn't like this when he taught me before. It takes two to tango, perhaps sister. Enough. Father roared. Go to your room and reflect on your actions. If you continue to think like this, I will help you find your biological parents. You both need to apologize to your sister. Shui Jinju's face turned ashen, while Wang Ma shot me a menacing glare from the side. My younger brother, his head bowed low, approached me to apologize. I pushed him away dismissively, ignoring him completely, and began tidying up my room after I sent them away. Mom assisted in the cleanup, stifling her tears and unable to meet my gaze. Baizhu, if something like this happens again, call your father or me immediately. Do not act so impulsively.
All right.
No matter what happens in the future, your mother will always stand by you. And Jinju might have just been momentarily irrational. Can we give her another chance?
After a long pause, fine.
Mom's face broke into a joyful smile. 05 Wang Ma took 2 days off, claiming her niece came to visit. Upon her return, she was beaming. She mentioned that her niece is now a renowned psychologist, with many people queuing for consultations.
Miss.
My niece can definitely help with your psychological issues, she asserted. After making some inquiries, Mom confirmed the existence of such a person and felt reassured enough to let Wang Ma take me to see her. Wang Ma indeed brought me to a psychological clinic, which boasted 3 lavishly adorned floors, each more opulent than the last. As soon as we entered, with a click, the grand door slammed shut and locked. Wang Ma instantly revealed her true colors, her face contorted with the same sinister expression she wore when she had gripped my neck that day. Where is the doctor? I asked, staring at the closed door with an impassive expression. Wang Ma let out a derisive huff. Did you really think I would take you to see a doctor? You are truly naive, Mississippi. Why did you return after living so well in that remote place? I fixed my gaze upon her. Are you not afraid I will call the police? Wang Ma erupted into laughter, her disdain palpable. Call the police, my dear. First, check if your phone has a signal. Indeed, there was no signal. I had checked upon entering. So, you deliberately abandoned me when I was 3? Yes, Wang Ma admitted with a disconcerting ease. If I hadn't abandoned you, how could my child live a life of luxury? The moment I first saw your parents, I knew that was the life my child deserved, she continued. The best education, the finest living, without the fear of those who would sell their daughter for money. As she spoke, it seemed she was lost in memories. I would never allow my child to endure the wretched life I had, being subjected to abuse and rising before dawn to serve a household. Her tone, so self-assured, ignited a mix of anger and laughter within me. So, I am meant to live this life, am I? Of course. All these years, I watched her being pampered, learning piano and dance, buying whatever she desired, residing in a home I could never afford. I knew then I had made the right choice. My daughter should live like this. I do not know how your parents found you, but this time I will ensure you disappear as naturally as you did at 3. This time, no one will find you. I felt a sudden clarity. So, during this time, your plan was to make my parents despise me and drive me away. You truly are a master strategist. Indeed, but I cannot wait any longer. You must vanish now. Wang Ma's face twisted with malice. Only when you disappear. Once they are gone, will all the money they leave behind be mine? A chill ran down my spine. As she drew closer, I instinctively raised my hand, only to be restrained by someone quietly approaching from behind. They bound me tightly to the seat. Wang Ma gleefully commanded the nearby psychologist. Hypnotize her. Erase her memories of this time and let her run away madly. My people are waiting in the alley. No wonder I had lost my memories prior to age 3. They had done the same to me then, coaxing me into fleeing. The psychologist took a recording pen from my bag and crushed it with a malicious grin. Her voice dripping with mockery. Look at me, Miss Xue. Your biological parents do not love you at all. Think about it. If they truly loved you, how could it take them 18 years to find you? While you struggled to survive in that remote village, your parents were busy coaxing their adopted daughter to eat more. As her words unfolded, a wave of familiar despair washed over me, and I could not help but weep, gasping for breath. Suddenly, she seized my hand and pressed it against the shattered recording pen. The sharp fragments pierced my skin, igniting a torrent of rage within me.
Miss Xue.
Close your eyes and listen to me. 06. I obediently closed my eyes, the sound of anger gradually replacing her gentle voice.
Bah.
I could never give birth to a jinx like you. Spittle flew as father, with a fierce countenance, railed at me, subsequently locking me in a drafty barn to fend for myself during the harsh winter. Yet, alas, I was resilient. Hey, sister, just let me have you once, after all. You'll be sold to an old widower for my bride price anyway, so what's the first time matter? My younger brother Pride opened my door in the dead of night, only to flee in terror at the sight of me wielding a torch, ready to face him. This little girl we bought is so skinny. She won't last long, will she? I was cast into a corner, surrounded by identical faces, disheveled, yellow-toothed, and reeking, all gazing at me with lewd eyes. No matter, let us all perish together. Just as I entertained this thought, the crowd suddenly halted, turning in unison to look at me. All wore expressionless faces, their mouths opening in unison, their voices echoing in my ears. Did you think you could really escape? Did you think you could really escape? They formed an impenetrable net, pinning me down in the center. In a daze, I seemed to hear a piercing cry. I opened my eyes abruptly, startling the psychologist. How did you wake up? I turned to Wang Ma, displaying a strange smile.
Tell me.
Do you think you can escape? Wang Ma spat, yanking my collar and delivering a stinging slap. Stop pretending to be crazy and trying to scare me. I fear no ghost, so why should I fear you? I turned my head from the blow but smiled. Is that so? Then listen. The shrill wail of police sirens transformed from a mere whisper to a clarity that pierced the air.
Wang Ma's pupils constricted.
My smile widened. I may be ill, but I am clever. Did you expect this? I had already called the police before entering. Before they could make a move, the police burst through the door. Wang Ma's expression shifted dramatically. She clutched my hand and anxiously said, Miss, how can you be so uncooperative with treatment? Don't be afraid. We are going home now. Just as she attempted to continue her charade, my parents entered with a pale-faced Shuizhenju. Seizing her moment of distraction, I wrenched my hand free and stepped back slowly. From the sole of my shoe, I retrieved a small device flashing a red light. Wang Ma swallowed hard, forcing a smile. Miss, what is this? I replied earnestly. A synchronized recording pen, unaffected by signal interference. There are 2, The other is in my mother's hand. Wang Ma stumbled, her complexion paling to match that of Xue Mingzhu. My mother, tears streaming down her face, glared at her. I never imagined that a viper had been lurking beside me all along, and that I had unknowingly lost my child for 15 years. Father held my mother tightly, his face etched with sorrow. It is my fault. Back then, you endured days without food or water, your face perpetually stained with tears. I could not bear to witness you languish in such anguish. It was Wang Ma who suggested adopting a girl of a similar age to our Baozhu to divert your attention. After some contemplation, I found her reasoning somewhat sound and visited the welfare home she recommended. In hindsight, it was all a trap. My mother angrily grasped Wang Ma. I will ensure you spend the rest of your life in prison, suffering endlessly. You vile serpent. Wang Ma, realizing her words were futile, let out a bitter laugh. It is my fault, but Pearl is innocent. She knows nothing. At this moment, Xue Pearl hurriedly stepped forward, tears streaming down her face to explain. Mom and Dad, I truly did not know anything about these matters. I was adopted by you at 3 years old. I have always regarded you as my biological parents. I genuinely had no knowledge of her actions. I will, from now on, regard my sister as my true sister. I will strive to help her integrate into this family. Father looked at her with disappointment.
You should not speak to us like that.
Xue Pearl turned and rushed towards me. Sister, I was wrong. I truly was wrong. I should not have been envious of you. I promised to get along with you. Please grant me another chance. I gazed at her tear-streaked face. Stop pretending. You cannot accommodate me. One of us must leave. This is my home. If someone must go, it will be you. Mother was already choking back tears, trembling. When we brought you home from the welfare institution and renamed you Pearl, it was because we genuinely cared for you. But what about you? You dared to utter such words to Baozhu, even wishing to cast away our biological daughter once more. I will contact the welfare home tomorrow. You should leave and not let us see you again.
No.
A desperate voice interrupted. My brother rushed in from the doorway, shielding Xue Pearl. Pearl is my sister. I will not allow you to send her away. Mother clutched her chest. Xue Baochan, Pearl is your biological sister, born of the same mother. Brother, I truly see you all as family. I just thought my sister was mentally unstable and did not want her to cause any trouble that might implicate us. Which is why I said those things. Xue Pearl clung tightly to Xue Baochan's clothes, sobbing. I do not want to leave you. Nor do I wish to leave Mom and Dad. Mother refused to listen any longer. Xue Baochan, will you allow her to speak of your biological sister in such a manner? Get away from her at once. I will not repeat myself. But isn't what my sister said true? My brother shouted, and the room fell silent. He gritted his teeth. Isn't what she said true? The day she returned, it caused us to be hospitalized. The teacher my sister found for him also taught me well. Why does she say such things? She even acted like a madwoman, attacking the teacher's car with a knife. Do you know what others say about our family behind our backs? They say we brought back a mad dog. As soon as he finished speaking, Father slapped him across the face. Brat, what nonsense are you spouting? Is this how I raised you? Father was serious. My brother was knocked to the ground, disbelief written across his face, his cheeks flushed. He shouted, I am also your biological son. Pearl may not be, but she has accompanied us for 15 years. In my heart, she is my true sister. I don't care. If you dare to send Pearl away, then send me away as well. At that, I burst into laughter. All eyes turned to me. My brother shouted angrily, What are you laughing at? I looked at his face, my tone calm. I laugh at how foolish you are when the truth is revealed, recalling the moment you uttered those words. He exploded with rage. Xue Baozhu, do you think this will make me believe you? Let me tell you, no matter what you say, I stand by Pearl's side. I do not believe Mom and Dad would send away their biological son. I laughed even harder, letting him jump around in frustration. It was only when tears streamed down my face that I stopped. I lifted my head and, fixing my gaze on him, asked slowly, Are you certain you are Mom and Dad's biological son? Silence enveloped the room. After a while, Xue Baochan was the first to break the silence. He roared at me in fury, Xue Baozhu, I knew you were insane. To separate us, you dare to tell such lies. It was you who was taken. I grew up with Mom and Dad. How could I not be their biological child? Out of the corner of my eye, I glanced at Wang Ma. Indeed, I have lived with mom and dad since childhood. There is no reason I wouldn't be their biological child. Shui Baochan scoffed. Exactly, so your reasoning is utterly ridiculous. But what if you were switched at birth? His words faltered. I continued, what if, when we were born, my biological brother had already been exchanged for you? Shui Baochan paused for a moment, his expression turning serious. I was thinking of how to help you coexist peacefully, promising to buy you something for Pearl.
Just as I would for you.
But you are truly malicious. Don't think mom and dad will believe you. Even though we are twins. I had a birthmark as a child and mom and dad can attest to that. Father snapped back to reality. Yes, Baozhu, we were present when you both were born. I watched as the nurse brought you out, and Baochan had a plum blossom birthmark behind his ear, but it faded as he grew. Shui Pearl timidly chimed in, sister. I can leave, but you have no right to send brother away. Brother is mom and dad's biological child. You cannot sow discord between him and mom and dad out of jealousy. Oh, is that so? I replied coolly, pulling out the documents from my backpack. You claim to be their biological child, yet this DNA report for their biological child shows no genetic relation to mom and dad, or even to me. This revelation struck like thunder, leaving everyone stunned. Father and mother rushed forward to examine the report, then stared at Shui Baochan in shock. Shui Baochan panicked, snatching the report and throwing it on the ground. You forged this, mom and dad. How can you believe a lunatic? This must be her fabrication. I smirked. Shui Baochan. I now understand why you protect Shui Pearl. After all, you two are indeed family. With that, I turned my gaze to the trembling figure inside the police car. Isn't that right, Wang Ma? Despair was clearly etched on Wang Ma's face. At this moment, Father's expression had turned ashen. I remember now. The night the children were born, I did indeed see a shadow in the ward. Later, when I checked, the children were fine, and the birthmarks were intact. So the birthmarks were fake, and at that time, my child had already been swapped, hadn't he it? Father gritted his teeth, forcing the words out. Mother looked as if she might faint, but still managed to question Wang Ma. Is it true? Wang Ma sat silently in the police car. Mother clenched her fists and took a deep breath. You may choose not to speak. I will file a lawsuit directly. For the past 18 years. Those two. Every penny of support. I will ensure my legal team accounts for every detail. I will make sure your two children suffer under this debt for the rest of their lives while you can only watch helplessly from prison. I will also hire private investigators to ensure they do not set foot outside H City. Wang Ma finally broke down, crying and kneeling. Let them go, let them go. I beseech you. I know I have wronged you, but the children are innocent. They truly know nothing. It is all my fault, all of it. The mother's hands trembled involuntarily, and Wang Ma's words had undeniably confirmed the gravity of the situation. So you acknowledge that the children are innocent? Your child is innocent, but what of mine? Is my child not innocent? I demand your execution. I shall see you condemned to death. Amidst the frantic cries, the mother could bear it no longer. Her eyes rolled back and she collapsed to the ground. The cacophony of wailing, shouting, despair, and sirens filled the chaotic scene as I crumpled to the floor, losing consciousness. 07 at the tender age of 3. My mother took my younger brother and me to an amusement park. I was too frightened to partake in the festivities, remaining by Wang Ma's side. When she inquired if I desired ice cream, I eagerly expressed my wish, joyfully taking her hand to purchase some. The surveillance footage revealed Wang Ma retrieving money for the ice cream while I chased after a balloon, venturing beyond the camera's view. To my innocent eyes, that balloon symbolized my mother. I called out for her as I chased, but she grew ever more distant, and I could no longer keep up, the terror within me erupting into inconsolable sobs. Please, mother, don't leave, don't abandon me. The sound of a snapping finger jolted me from my reverie. My father, gasping for breath, wept nearby, while my mother silently shed tears. I was at a loss for how to comfort them, feeling the weight of those resurfacing memories pressing heavily upon my heart. The sensation was almost suffocating. My mother seemed to sense my distress, wiping her tears. She playfully slapped my father's forehead. You foolish man, cease your crying. Then she embraced me tightly. Mother loves you, and I promise I will never be separated from you again. We must stay strong. We still need to find your brother. My father joined in the embrace. Father loves you too, and I will never leave your side. Wang Ma admitted to her role in our abduction without reservation. Following our repeated appeals, she was sentenced to death. Moreover, she unwittingly unveiled an entire network of human trafficking. Her so-called niece, indeed a psychology major, was responsible for hypnotizing and abducting individuals, while Wang Ma sought out buyers. My adoptive family was also implicated in the trafficking scheme, ordered to return all ill-gotten gains and sentenced to 20 years in prison. Through Wang Ma's testimony, we traced the sellers and learned that my brother, upon turning 18, had enrolled in university and never returned. Yet, amidst our disappointment, we felt a glimmer of hope. The news that he was alive was the best we could have wished for. 08 What I did not disclose to my parents was that throughout my nightmarish 15 years of existence, whenever I felt I could no longer endure, a gentle voice would emerge within me, urging me to hold on. For reasons unknown, I came to believe this voice belonged to my long-lost brother, a unique connection we shared. Thus, when I encountered Xue Baochen, I slowly began to feel he was not my brother. My brother would never perceive me as a mad dog. During the years spent searching for my brother, whenever my emotions surged, I would silently reassure myself, "Hang in there. Sister will find you." Until that fateful day, when I beheld that young man on the big screen, cradling a guitar and singing softly. In that moment, his voice resonated in harmony with the voice within me. Tears streamed down my face as I gazed at the screen.
I have found you, my brother.
The end of the narrative. Thank you for listening. Until our next tale, farewell.